Okay, we're going to be in step 8 to the end in this video. So I did 1 through 7 in the previous video. So jump in your instructions to step 8 if you're following along. First thing we want to make sure is we're on the fees and credits. What we're doing is we're going to calculate this first F7 column. We want to find out how much total money we're bringing in for this general biology class. So this step, we're just doing some simple mathematical equations using the order of operations. So we're going to hit equal sign, which tells Excel that we're going to do some math. We're going to take credit hours times the number of sections times the fee. Then I hit enter and I've got $4,500. I don't need any parentheses because I want it to times in that exact order. So no need for parentheses in that formula. In 8C, we're going to be in cell G7 and we're going to figure out how much the fee is per credit hour. So we're going to say equal our F7, so our total that we found, divided by, and now I do need a parenthesis here, and we're going to take in C7 times D7. So I'm finding out how many credit hours I actually have, and we're going to divide out our total. And we're going to times that by our C20 down here, which is the average enrollment. But we want to make that one absolute because I want to copy this down and we want this C20 to stay the same. So I use my function F4, or I can type in my dollar signs right up here. That just helps me keep that constant. So when I copy this down, F7 will move to F8 divided by C8 times D8, but C20 will stay constant. That's why we use an absolute reference. If I hit enter without closing out the parenthesis, Excel is going to give me a little warning, say, yes, I do want that in parenthesis there. If you don't want to get that warning, just put in the parenthesis and it will work out the same. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to fill this information down. So we're going to copy it down. So I highlight, put my mouse in the bottom right corner, get the little plus sign, black plus sign, and click and drag down. And now it's going to calculate all of that for me. Mine is already set to currency, but even if yours looks like money, I would just double check and click on currency just to make sure. SimNet sometimes grades that currency wrong. And so if you get marked down for a number format, just leave me a comment and I'll give you the point, because for some reason my students will do the currency but SimNet doesn't like the look of it or something. I can't figure out why it's marking it wrong, but I'll give you the point, so no worries. So that completes step 8. We're going to go down to, one last thing, sorry, on 8J, it says set a bottom border for F18 and G18. So when I copied down, it also takes the formatting, which removed this bottom border and put the dotted line. So I'm just going to simply highlight, come up to my borders button and click on that bottom border. And now it looks like the rest of them, and it looks complete. Step number 9, we're using the SUMIF. So SUMIF function is actually really handy. What you're saying is, if we meet a certain criteria, I want you to add these cells together. And so this will make sense as we're going through this little step right here. So in D26, what we want to do is we're going to give it the criteria of anything in the biology sections. So anything with our department BIO, biology, we want it to calculate our total fees. So we're going to hit on our formulas tab in math and trig, and if you can't remember which section something is in, if you click your insert function button, you can actually type it in and find it that way. But it tells us we're in the math and trig, so I'm going to go right there. I'm going to scroll down to find my SUMIF function. Okay, so what we're saying is we're going to take our range, which is going to be A7 to A18. So we're saying we want all of this information to be included in that search for the criteria. So anything we can look up in this table. And we want that to be constant, so absolute reference. So I'm going to highlight it and use my function F4, or you can put in the dollar signs. For my criteria, so I'm on step 9E. The criteria we want is biology right now, so I'm just going to type in the BIO. The sum range is going to be F7 to F18 because we want our total fees to be added together. So here's our total fees column. So we're just saying take it from this actual column, and that's what we're going to add together. You're going to make that constant as well, so function F4. And so basically what we're saying is we're saying in the range of A7 through D18, anything that has to do with this bio department, you're going to add anything in the F7 to F18 range. So that's how a sum if function works. If we have meet this criteria, then add it together. So I hit OK, and I've got total 13,350. So what it did was it took my fees right here, anything to do with the bio, and added all that together using my sum if function. You're going to make sure that's currency. Mine already was pre-formatted because I have done this before, so yours probably won't be pre-formatted, so make sure you change it to currency. The next step we're going to do is we're going to copy our sum if function down. Sorry, I've got my little baby right here with me and he's starting to get fussy. So if you hear him in the background, sorry about that. We're going to copy this function down. So we're going to click and drag it down. Now it's all going to be the same because it's all looking for the bio department. What we're going to do is change it to each department that we're looking for. So if I click in cell D27, my department is foreign languages. Oops, let me just enter out of that. My little 3-digit code, I guess, that corresponds with foreign languages FRL. So if I click up in my cell and I take out bio and type in FRL, that's what it's going to look for instead of bio. And everything else is the same. I just hit enter. In the instructions, it talks about this little arrow or this little triangle coming up, and that's a little warning that Excel will give you. So you can open that up and you can look for, it says your formula is inconsistent because everything else is the bio and we changed that to FRL. You guys are smarter than your computer, and so most of the time you're just going to ignore that error. It's kind of a nice thing because Excel is saying, hey, this is different. You might want to double check it. It's basically why they do that. Next one is information systems, which is IMS. So we're going to come and take out the bio and type in IMS and hit enter. And then physical science is PHY. So I take that out and type in PHY and hit enter. And so now I've got my total fees all calculated correctly. So step 11 is our sum product. Let me get rid of those real fast. Is our sum product formula. So basically a sum product is saying that we want to, in this case, we're going to times and add together. So what we're doing is we are taking our credit hours times the number of section plus this credit hour for all of the biology, and it's going to add them all together to tell us our total credit hours. So in your math and trig formulas button, we're going to scroll down and click on sum product. And our first array is going to be the credit hours for the bio department. And our second array is going to be the number of sections for the biology department. And then I hit OK. And it gives me 98 total credit hours. Okay, so once we calculate our credit hours, you can ignore that error again, like I showed you before. In step 12, we're going to copy down our formula, and it says in the end without formatting. So I'm going to click it down and click on my little autofill options. and fill without formatting. Okay, which is nice when you're doing like maybe you don't want to copy the number format down or something. Okay, in step 12B, it says click cell E27 and click the insert function button because we're going to change our formula to match our foreign language. So right here is your insert function button. And what we're going to do is come up and change that to our foreign language department. If I hit tab, it will highlight my next cell and then I can just select to replace it. And then I can hit OK. And we're going to do that for the remainder of the departments. So the next one is information management. So we're going to come up and click our function button. And we're going to do information management right here. C13, hit my tab button, and D13 down to D15. So you'll want to make sure that your numbers are matching, just C to D, C to D, and the 13 and 15. Hit OK. And our last one is insert function. We're going to do our physical science department, click and drag, tab, click and drag, D16 to D18 and C16 to C18, and hit OK. And then if those bug you, you can ignore them. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it's totally up to you. Okay, step 13 is insert the current date. So in cell G30, we're going to put the current date. Now if I just type in today's date, when I open this again, that date will be the same. If I use my today formula, or my today function, so I hit equal TO and I use my today, every time I open up this file, it will update that date. So that's why it's kind of nice to use a function if you want that date constantly updating for you automatically. Then we're going to hit Control Home, which takes me to cell A1. And then step 14, we're going to paste the range names. So in step 2, we named some ranges. Now we're going to paste the list. So we're going to click on our new sheet, double click, type in range names. Let me double click that. Okay, I've got up in A1, you can either use your function F3 to open the paste names, or you can come right here in the formulas tab, use in formula, paste names, paste list. Gives me the range name and where it's located. And then I want to auto fit my selection, double click. So I click between the A and the 1 and then double click between the A and the B and it will auto fit everything. I could come in and drag if I want to, but it's just easier to do it all at the same time. And then you can, 15, 16, and 17 is just to upload, save and upload your file. Let me know if you have questions. Good luck.